every night is the Rangers Journal night.
Evening, everybody, and welcome to Rangers Journal podcast. I'm your host, Scott Mackay, and I'm delighted to be joined by Ben and our special guest for tonight, Curry. Curry, I'll come to you first. How you doing, mate?
Not bad, mate. Not bad. Hope you're doing well yourself.
Aye, can't complain, mate. Can't complain.
Good stuff.
Ben, how you doing, mate?
Aye, good, mate. Yourself?
Aye, all right, pal. All right. All right. Curry, we'll come to you first, just before the questions and that start coming in. This is a Q&A, so get your questions in so we can start to fire through and get them answered. Curry, where are you at with Rangers just now? Don't know if I'm leaving myself open here, but...
Oh, you're leaving yourself well open, mate. Honestly, mate, I'm just perplexed on what's actually happening with your club now. It's just from top to bottom is just an absolute shambles. I'll save the swearing to later probably, but it's just everything that could go wrong's probably gone wrong. The decision been made for the board, the decision been made for the manager. It's just, I just can't see how this is going to improve. There's absolutely nothing I can see right now that's going to see us through to the end of the season and make us any better if things stay the way they are just now. And as I said, it was a couple of weeks ago, I said I was done with Clement. There's too many red flags about what he's saying and what's happening with the squad that I've just went, do you want to know something? I've got absolutely no faith in you at all, mate. So, unfortunately, I'm one of the doom and gloomers now. You know me, I always try and call a spade, mate, as best I can. But I think probably the biggest one for me was probably after the European game and seeing how well we played without Tavernier. Tavernier bash time, without Tavernier in the squad. And then he goes and plays them against Hearts. And again, Tavernier wasn't good, mate. He wasn't probably the worst in that day, but he was one of the worst yet again. And that's been the story of our season. And I'm just, if he's going to do that, he's got to keep on doing it. All this carry on managing minutes. It was an international. Come on. There was no need to manage minutes. So, as I said, I think I said to you and I've said to the guys and that, we're basically turning into a badly run club, mate. A really, really badly run club. We're Sports Science FC now, an excuse FC. That's why we're feeling about now.
That's fair, mate. That's fair. Ben, where you at in terms of Rangers? And obviously with that decent performance against Olympiacos, and then we went followed up with a turgid 1-0 win over Hearts. We don't seem to be doing it domestically, do we?
I just think we're set up to play in Europe, mate. We're not set up to have hunters of the ball and be a team that dominates, which is what we all know Rangers to be. I just think we're set up to want to have a team to come at us and try and exploit the spaces. Domestically, but even at with teams are having a go at us domestically. For instance, they're in half. It's not as if teams are totally just sitting half in a block. Their front players are coming after us because they know that we've got no threat really in behind. It's not great to watch, though, I think, and I can't see it improving, to be honest.
Ben, do you trust Clement with more money in January, if there is any?
See, for me, this is where Copper and that should be planning with it. Clement, they should be signing players that's going to be here beyond him because it's going to... I think if he loses the cup final, he'll be away. I think between the Spurs game and the Celtic games, the two games that will be decisive. If Spurs come up here and give us a doing, and then regardless of how we play against Celtic, if we don't win it, I think that'll be it. I think you'll manage to get yourself to that point.
Gary, what about you? You getting you want to add to that, mate?
I think we've both said everything. By the way, pleased to meet you, Ben, first night, mate. So I don't know how Ben's... I've not managed to see Ben in the pod before, so I don't know his thoughts on what's been happening this season, or whether he's maybe at one point thought that he was going to be able to... we were going to be able to do something. So I don't know how much his mind's changed, or does he still think that there is possibilities there? I don't know yet.
I know. It's a bit grim. Sorry, Ben, in you come, mate.
No, I think Curry's spot on. Like, I think I try not to be too doom and gloom, but it's hard to pick something out. I just expect us to be decent in Europe, to be honest. Like, even the Lyon game, I thought it would be a tough game and they'd probably might edge us, but to get beat 4-1, I thought was quite bad. But by that, we've been decent. I just think with the run of fixtures coming up, I think he manages to get to the kind of 2 games, the Spurs game and the cup final. And if Spurs aren't having as good a time mate down south, he'll want to come up here and make a wee statement, I think, which is what Liverpool did a couple of years ago.
It's not, you could get into the Spurs game with the narrative of if you're playing well in domestically and you've managed to claw back a couple of points and things aren't that bad and there's a bit of a good feel factor going in and about the club, you'd expect Spurs to come up and turn us over. But how easy are we going to make it for them? I think that's the kind of $1 million question, if I'm being honest. Just to apologise to everybody, the link on YouTube wasn't put on to be listed, so my apologies. That's it now. The comments
Amateur.
start coming in.
Absolute bloody amateur.
You're right there, Curry. I'm not half, mate. Not half. And Mitch in the comments says he was too busy tonight, Curry.
Aye, well, as we said, we discussed that I was going on and that you usually chat it. So it doesn't surprise me in the slightest, to be honest with you, Scotty.
Curry, when do you think could be if Clement is going to get a bag? When's it going to happen?
I just seen Ross Graham's question there.
Aye.
He's getting. Listen, you're a bit to get red carded, Ross. Don't even. I can't see him going until we've got a chairman and CEO in place.
Aye.
Because I don't think Gilligan will do it. As much as he said he's a Rangers man, I mean to say we're all Rangers men. I know for a fact if I was in that board, the first thing I would be doing, what's he doing? Question for Curry Wins, you're dating with Lana.
Lana will.
Aye, right, aye. I'll crack the jokes. Even she's not that desperate, Christ. Low hanging fruit. I can't see anything happening, mate, until we get a chairman or a CEO in. If John decides to do it sooner, I'll probably have a lot more respect for him than initially thought, because the fact that we've got a guy that actually retired having to do the job, where are the rest of them?
Right.
That's the thing that really cheeses me off. Where's the rest of them? They could have been doing this job. Any one of the top 5 in that boardroom could have come in, but they never. What they decided to do is pass it on to them, a retired member. And I just think I thought it was a shocking idea, but it would be the first time I've been shocked at ideas for your board now. So, as I say, I want to stay positive, mate. I really, really want to stay positive. But I just, everything that I want to happen, and I think most of the major support want to happen, isn't going to happen. And I think that because we know it's not going to happen, I think that's what's making it worse. See, if we thought that something was going to get said or something was going to get done, I think the Rangers support would be a bit more, not so much lenient, but they'd be a bit more understanding. But because we've still got this mentality, we're kept in the dark about absolutely everything. And we hear any news for Ibrox for second sources, and it ends up put in socials. That's what pisses Rangers fans off, because it's not the people that are supposed to be telling us what's happening, what's going wrong, right, or what they're going to do. So all we can do is wait, mate, and hope for the best. For me, and I've said it so many times, that he has to go. He's not the man to take us forward. He's not improved the squad. We've probably regressed. And he's coming out. He's just the things that he's saying. Where is our PR team? Where's our public relations team telling players and the manager, listen, you can't say that? With
I
Liam
know.
Balogun come out the other day there, he did a presser, and I said this in one of the other pods. If somebody was watching in and watching that presser who didn't know anything about Rangers at all, they would have thought he was the manager or the captain of your club. So,
I know.
it's
know,
there. Right, Ben, hit us with some positive stuff, mate.
Don't want to lie to you, Curry boy. That's the kind of thing. I don't want to tell you lies, mate.
Right, I'm going to quickly.
Lie to me, please, just lie.
We're half decent in Europe. There's a small positive. So we've got Paul's come in with a question. Ben, I'll come to you on this one about a Union Bears statement. Have you read it?
I just I seen the question, mate. I had a wee half glance at it on Twitter there. Just basically, I think they've, in a nutshell, kind of said that the boards made them change venues for preparing the banner for last weekend, and it basically was a challenge to them, and they feel as if the relationship way upstairs is on a sugary peg, to say so. And I think after getting the move and all that for them, what's the point in trying to make it hard for them now? They've managed to get a move to Copeland, try to improve the atmosphere at the stadium, and now they're trying to make things difficult. And it wasn't as if it was like just a bog standard display. I mean, it's a display that probably most Rangers fans will take pride in every year, the
100%.
Remembrance game. So not very
100%.
good, I don't think. Doesn't look good for them to stay again, I would say.
Nope. Corey, what about you? Where'd you come from on it?
Well, I'm a big supporter of the Union Bears and what they bring to the club. I know there's an element in there that are just, you're going to get that part of bad apples in every barrel, and there is a couple of idiots that are in it, and that's up to the Union Bears to stamp that out and stop the idiots from joining in their group. But what's happening between the board and them doesn't surprise me. They did it when we're going through all the carry on, when Beale was going to be removed, and they stopped people from bringing banners in then because it was against the board. And that's, as King said, blazer and tie men, and they don't want it. They don't want anything. See, as long as they're there, they'll be in charge for God knows how long. I'm just hoping that there is some type of takeover in the near future, because if we don't, I'm really worried about what's going to happen to the club, because you've known me for quite a while now, Scotty, and we were talking about where I stood with titles and that, and I said domestic will always come first with me, always. See, after I seen the figures, mate, I'm like, shit, because we'll need to get into this next stage, Europa, or we could be really financially up the creek. We need European success in some way, and that means getting into the next stage, whether it's through the playoffs or which will probably, I'd say that was our biggest chance. We need to get in there. It's just, I feel like Victor Meldrew here, mate. It's absolutely everything pissing me off about our club now.
I know, mate. I know, but that's a kind of sorry state of affairs we're in now, Curry. And even the boards wouldn't picked a fight with probably the only fans group within the Rangers support that's going to the stadium and making a noise that you can rely on. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of things that, a lot of positives and negatives to Union Bears. There's a lot of things people like. There's a lot of things people don't like. But at the end of the day, they're out to do a job. They're out to supply us with brilliant tifos, help make Ibrox an intimidating atmosphere for most places. You know what I mean? And they do that, and they do it well.
Is it okay if I send a special message to Mitch for Scotty? This is just for you, Mitch, right? Guess how many fingers I've got behind there?
Right, all right, we'll see what he comes back with. You can tell us Pod's not got an agenda tonight, man.
Aye.
Ben, where do you think we need to strengthen in January?
I said, for the moment the window shut, we were really needing a number 6, like a proper sitting midfielder for me. Somebody that can sniff danger and cover spaces and be aggressive and be good on the ball, I think. But the more I've watched this and I've seen that, take out the Ross County game, it's 10 goals in 10 games. You could say we're maybe lacking in the forward areas, but then I don't know how much that's down to how tactical or untactical we actually are, because we look very poorly coached. So I'll probably stick by number 6, because that's what I said.
Aye. It's either a striker or a number 6 for me. Corey, what about you?
A 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, a 7, an 8, a 9, and a 10, and an 11.
I'm surprised you never said 2 after the Tavernier bashing we got before we got on YouTube.
The thing is, Ben, I think our right back position is well covered.
I would agree, mate.
It's just unfortunately that Clements has decided that our third best right back should be getting games, no matter how bad he plays. Left hand side, we don't know what's happening with Yilmaz. Yilmaz is just, his injury record is really bad. Between him and Hefty, that should be covered. Our 2 centre backs, proper, I don't think quite as bad as everybody's saying. He's no brilliant. I'm still prepared to give him a wee bit of time. I think he's probably a wee bit too lightweight for domestic games. Big Balogun is always reliable, lacking a bit of speed. He's big sooty, isn't he? All he does is he's there for, and he can make the odd mistake in that. And just the game the other day there, he done it again. But he's competent. It's no where we're really worried. But the midfield is probably the strongest too. We Raskin and Barron. Our number 10 is an absolute shambles. Diamonde has been absolutely chronically bad. And a lot of people will disagree with me. Is there a player there? Aye. But I just don't think. We've tried him at a 6, we've tried him at an 8, we've tried him at a 10. He's no really succeeded. The first couple of months he came to this club, he was pressed real up forward. I'd probably say he was playing in like a false 9 position. He was playing just outside the edge of the box, and that's where he had his success. But that's not the system that Clement plays. That Tierney has been brilliant. I never bashed on Tierney, but he was having bad games, so I like Tierney. He tries, he keeps on trying. He know that he's why that he plays reminds me, but what happened with Kent, when Kent was on, and he made a lot of mistakes as well, and then they started pressing him, there was 2 or 3 players on him. But our left wing is really needing sorted out. Barami's not a left winger. Can he play that position? Aye. But he plays better than the 10. And this is the whole problem with our full squad. I do think we've got the players. I really do think we've got the players now. But we don't under Clement, because he won't play them in their proper positions, or not even the proper positions, but their preferred positions. It's as if he's not utilising the players. It's like no using Hadji. There was absolutely no reason at all for him not to use Hadji in that Hearts game. They put Doyle on. And as I said, putting Danilo on with 10-15 minutes to go. What was that all about? It's just, everything just seems wrong. And I think most of it, and a lot of people will say, well, it's the board's fault. It's not the board's fault or the CEO not having a CEO fault, or not having a chairman's fault. It's Clement that picks this 11. It's him that tells him what to do in the park at the end of the day. So what Ben was saying, can you really trust the guy to bring us in players? We were copying bringing in players, sorry. But look at the guys he has brought in. There was only 3 playing.
I know.
At the weekend there. So something has to get sorted.
Something's got to change somewhere, innit? Something's got to change somewhere. Ben, what about you in terms of Diamonde? the comments are going nuts about him just now. Some are saying that he's looked rubbish since Raskin came in. It doesn't look good. It's Clement's fault. Where you at with Diamondi?
I think it would look better in a different system or a different way a midfield played. See, like a Gerrard midfield where it was either a flat three or one sat, and you'd maybe like Jack, Kamara, Davis, like Jack, Kamara, Arfield. I think a midfield like that would suit Diamandi. I think it needs to be. I think when we signed him, he'd experience of playing like left side, so like left back, left mid, kind of, and then moved into midfield when he was in Denmark. So I would have wanted him off the kind of left side and in the centre of midfield. Raskin probably being your sitter at the moment, and I'd have Barron on the other side. But obviously, the way he wants to play with this kind of number 10, and we don't really have an excellent 10. Well, obviously, he's refused to put Barami in the 10 yet, but I think that's what's kind of holding us back a wee bit. But he seems to have stuck in his ways to change it.
Corey, see the midfield's not working. It's as if there's a big hole in the middle, isn't it? It's far too easy to play through. I've never known a Rangers midfield so easy to get played through on my puff.
Because they're no moving as one, mate. If you're going to push up, you need the full squad to push up, and that includes the back four as well. The mid three and the forward three. They don't all move it in as one. If you'll notice, the way come on to set us up is it's like a half and half type of way he's playing. There's like we half push up, but we half sit back. And as you said, that's why there's a space. You need to, it's risk and reward. You need to go all in or don't. How many times did we see the ball getting took down the wing? Barami had a couple of times, was down the left hand side. And he had to come back inside again because there was nobody in the middle. Nobody was running into the box. I'm going to go into that mob. You watch any of their games, and you can guarantee there's 4 or 5 of them waiting in the box for the ball. We don't have anybody except Dessers. And it's just, it's frustrating, mate. As I said, for me, I know, I don't know so much of that. I know, for me, I think we do have the players. I do. I really, really do think we've got enough on paper and good enough players, but I just don't think that we're playing the right. As Ben said, we're not playing the right system for the players that we've got. Either Clement needs to change the way he's used the system, or he needs to start using the players where they're supposed to be played, and no having 3 right backs on and 2 6s on all at the same time. When we're defending a 1-0 lead, that's crazy. That's something we would expect if we're playing the likes of a high tier team in Europe, not against the SPFL clubs.
Aye, definitely, mate. Definitely. We'll go into some positive, or who is positive in terms of Jeffy. Ben, I think this boy could be, now bearing in mind how he's going to get used now that Ridvan is back fit, or if he's not back fit, I really don't know what's happening with Ridvan, but Jeffy seems like the type of player we can bring in for a small fee, develop him, sell on. What's your thoughts on him so far? I think between him and Barron, they're our best signings.
Aye, I would agree. I think he's looked steady. I think I remember being at pre-season at Murrayfield against Man United, and for their first goal with Diallo, he was awful. And I'm going, oh my God, what have we done here? But he's grown, and then I remember the St Johnstone Cup game at Hampden, and we were there, he looked really, really good. Kind of for left back, and he was kind of stepping into midfield. And I don't think he's really put a foot wrong. I don't think he's the best defensively. But then I think maybe in a better system, you can get people to cover that. Obviously, some of the boys in the chat, like Ryan and that, have said about trying to push him up to left wing. I wouldn't be against it either. If you can get Yilmaz back in the team. I just think the problem is if you're playing 2 left backs, or you're both left backs at the same time for a consistent run of games, and one of them gets injured again, which is highly probable, you're back down to bare bones again. So you also need to get like Cortez and Matondo back fit, and I seen Matondo played an hour yesterday, so it's a very muted celebration. But we need somebody that can play off the left side as well as Jeffy. There's just nobody, and you need Barami to move central.
Aye, definitely. definitely. Curry, in terms of left-hand side, I think Jeffrey's managed to get a good relationship going with whoever's been in front of him, because I think he's a good player. It's not like gone are the days of Borna Barisic where it was batty keeper all the time. Jeffrey's driving into Midley Park. He's the only one that really done it on Sunday, let's be honest about it. Who do you think needs to play in front of him to get the best out of him?
If it was me in the way we are just now, if everybody was fit, I would use Hefty where he's playing just now. Cortez on the left. Although I've got absolutely zero evidence of that, we've not seen it. We've only seen it in maybe 1 or 2 games when he first came. But I've put a lot of hope in the young boy because I think he is a class V player. So if he can bloody stop having legs like bloody a chocolate biscuit, it'll be absolutely fine. Danilo in the middle, Dessers is at best a third pick striker. He's your man you bring in when you've got nobody else. At the right, Tierney is absolutely fine. And the number 10 would be Barami. That's the way the players that we've got to do, that's who I'd have. Lawrence is a brilliant football player, but he's got no legs. He's a moments, I've said this before, he's a moments player. Well, he give you moments, aye, but he doesn't give you enough moments. And that's what we need to know. There was stats going about, I think it was Rangers Review, and they've been putting Twitter and all that, about how many shots at goal we've had and how many goals we've got. That's relegation figures. That is really, really bad. So either...
One away goal last season.
What's that, mate?
One away goal last season.
Aye. It's just... No, we've got 2 now.
2 now.
Aye, we've got 2 now. Whoopie now. It's just... there's far, far too many negatives just now. And that's why I think that the Rangers fan base are so angry just now. Is because, as I said earlier, nothing's been getting sorted. No, I think is there no an AGM due very, very shortly? So so hopefully there'll be some decent questions asked for a change, and something that concerns all the fans, and not just the ones that for a certain, like, it won't be like a me question.
Right.
You know how, like, somebody goes up and says, "Oh, I'm not happy about this because I'm not happy." I'd like to see somebody go up and say, "Listen, this is what all the Rangers support are not happy about." Every single one of them, the ones that go to the games, the season ticket holders, the ones that buy merchandise, the ones that watch you on telly, that buy RTV, the full support. They should be addressing these questions. So I'm hoping that there's a lot said, and I hope they take it on board. Whether they do or not is another thing. It's going to be hard getting anything done now because we've not got a CEO and a chairman. And I hope a chairman that comes in has got absolutely nothing to do with this board just now. They're a total independent. They're going to come in, and his main priority is Rangers and nothing else. He's not interested in abroad. I don't want somebody coming in that lives in another continent or lives down south or anything like that. I want somebody that can be based here 24/7 until we can get out this shithole that we're in now. Because I think we can all admit, right now, Rangers is a pure clusterfuck.
Aye.
And we need to get it sorted.
I think that's the one thing we learned about Tour Ibrox who went on, Curry, remember, was that nobody works out the stadium anymore. That's poor. And nobody for the board or management team go to work at Ibrox on a daily basis. I know the management stuff's at the training ground, but I don't know. I think the standards are something.
Scotty, I'll ask you. Ben, I don't know your background, mate, right? Or what type of work you do, right? No, I've never ran any like huge businesses or anything like that, right? I work for myself, right? I've had 3 or 4 employees at times, and I've had just me and somebody else, right? Now, I'm guessing that maybe in a bigger corporate size company or a limited company, he sorts a medium enterprise, say, and above, that none of these guys are on the board that have got multiple of these businesses. I bet you every single one of them have got a CEO and a chairman in charge of these businesses, right? Do they really run their business like that? They don't have a CEO and a chairman for between 6 and 4 months. That's financial suicide for a company, for me anyway. As I said, but I'm just small fry compared to they guys. So, if you get any thoughts on that, Ben?
I think you're spot on, mate. I think at any level you need to lead for the top. Everything needs to come from the top. I think that's the issue. And nobody knows what's going on, who's making decisions. Who gave Dujon Sterling his contract extension? Who signed that off? Not saying it was a bad decision, but who physically went, aye, that's good, them figures look good, give him that. Who signed that off? Obviously, Copman's going to be looking at transfer windows and stuff, but who's telling him what money they've got? Who's going, right, here's your budget. Here's your budget. Who's he going to be a list of players and going, that's who me and Clement, or that's who I think, and I'm going to go to Phil and say that's who we're kind of looking at. And they go, right, that's fine, but we've only got a budget for maybe 2 to 4 players you brought to us, so you'll need to kind of pick between it, like who, because John Gilligan sounds like a guy at the moment who just is held because he's got no choice. Like, there was nobody else, and he's went, right, I'll do it now, but he doesn't seem to want to make any big decision, which is fair enough, because he wants to step away. And I think the way he wants to do it, where it's chairman, CEO, so chairman picks CEO, they both pick whether you get a sporting director or kind of managing director, whatever. That makes sense, but it shouldn't be taking this long. It should have been done months ago. It should have been Bennett should have had the groundwork done before he obviously had to step away. A lot of the groundwork should have been done.
Aye, 100%. You look at it and you think it's when Ross Wilson, Stuart Robertson were here, right? That's not a good example to get at all. But when a manager went out, there was a list compiled of what managers you would approach to speak to about a job. You would imagine it would be the same for chief executives when Bisgrove left. Even with head of academy, we've got somebody in there on an interim basis just now. There's no youth pathway. All that kind of stuff is Rangers aren't doing the basics off the pitch or on the pitch. And to get standards driven back up, that needs to get fixed off the pitch first. And there needs to be some Clement needs a boss that's going to go, oh, by the way, that wasn't good enough on Saturday. You're not doing this, you're not doing that, you're not doing the next thing. This is the expectations of this job. Because that's what fans expect, because they're a boss, they pay for us at the end of the day. That's the kind of stuff that should be happening at a club, because that's standards. And that's not happening just now. I'm expecting this AGM to go by with, I really don't know, to be brutally honest with you. The only smart question I've ever heard at an AGM was that one somebody put Ross Wilson a couple of years back, remember when Bill was in charge, about John Suter, who signed an injury-ravaged defender. The rest of it is all about asking about prices of pies, and it's just utter nonsense, man. It's utter nonsense.
Actually, I do want that is something that has to be addressed, though, because we're about 6th in the league for pies. That's a disgraceful statistic, by the way, that we're only the 6th best pie in the whole of the SPFL.
As a guy who's travelled about a fair bit, those pie standings were fairly accurate, I would say. By the way, Ross County pie's top tier.
Aye. But Ben, this is where somebody with some business knowledge would say to themselves, wait a minute, why are they top of the pie list? Hey, that's a great start. Get somebody sent up there and find out what they're doing, and then we'll do it here as well. Well, obviously they're not doing that. All they're doing is sending the same shit they've been sending out for the last 10 years. Because we've always been the same. I don't think at any point we've ever had a decent pie. See, that's just it's positivity now we're talking, because we're on to my favourite subject, pie.
But good. Is there anything you want to speak about, lad? Because I'm kind of struggling now because it's just all negativity. It's just all kind of. January's up round the corner. We've been linked to a couple of players: Darius Alaru, another centre mid, Lennon Miller, another centre mid. These guys aren't going to fix the problems as far as I'm concerned. You need a 6, you need a 9. Ben, you get anything you want to get off your chest?
I think talking about the guys you've spoke about, Alaru, kind of been linked for a few years. I can remember his name going back a while. Miller. I think Miller, especially, if we were going to get after Lennon Miller, and I think the ship sailed, I kind of see spending the money that they'll get. I even think it's borderline if Celtic will spend the money they'll want for him. Whether Celtic do it and then just go to get back to Motherwell for a year, like they did with I know Turnbull was injured, but kind of send them back for a year and kind of see where they're at. That would be like a kind of the way we've been described as the Iggy signing. Kind of you need to sign him now, you don't get him. So, but we need to kind of. I think January's always a hard window. You need to pick your battles. The Diamandi might have been the same. Kind of we need to get him now, you never get him, or do you go no? We need that position, and we've got a couple of guys available who can do a job. Because I know the other link was a right winger for Peterborough, Poku.
Aye, Poku, aye.
But obviously, I think as January comes, it will get busy. But as I kind of said earlier, I kind of see a manager being the same. Come January, I think unless if he wins a cup final, amazing, fab. He gets
not going
more time. But if he doesn't, I think even if it's like a Gerrard final where we battered him and get beat 1-0, I think even if that happened again, he'd be away. I just think it would be a straw brought to Camel's back, because they're in the stands at the semi-final when Motherwell were leading kind of towards half-time, and half-time was as bad as it's been for a long time. I think probably as bad as when Kelly equalised that Pedro got a punt when we missed the penalty and Kelly went out apart and scored. It was probably worse than that, and that was bad.
Aye, I know. I don't think he's going to do anything against that mob, to be honest. I think he's made his bed and he's lying on it, and he's going to continue to push it as far as I'm concerned, because I don't think he's got a leg to stand on against him. He doesn't know. He can't even play properly against Hearts. We hope we got against them. Corey, you getting your eye off your chest before we wrap up, mate? I know it's been a short one tonight.
Aye, but unfortunately, it won't be solved here, mate. So major issues all over the place. Not even Rangers, but it doesn't help. My hope is basically, I do hope that this is going to sound really bad, right? And I know a lot of people will totally disagree with me, and that's fair enough. You all know how opinionated I am. I just think for the best for our club, I think Clement should go. I think that would be one of the best things that could happen now. And I know it's going to cost us money, but it'll be gardening leave. He'll get put out, and we'll pay whatever he's owed over the next 2-3 years in instalments, because I think he's had enough time and he's said enough stuff that isn't happening. It has to be that the players that he's playing have been rewarded for failure. And it is failure, because when you've got 50,000 fans booing when a substitution's been made, I don't care if you're the best manager in the world, whoever it is, but if you've got 50,000 fans booing your decision, I'm going to trust these fans before I trust you. Because we all watch football for X amount of years. We see it with our eyes, and your eyes don't lie. So it's just for the betterment of the club, I think he would be best moving along and finding somebody that is going to give us a style and actually build for the future, because I don't think we're building for the future just now. We're basically building to hang on. now because there have been no improvements, absolutely no improvements at all. So everybody goes on about Gerrard and he was given 3 years. After 6 months, I could see an improvement in the Rangers side.
Aye, you can see what you were doing.
That he had in his team.
Aye.
And he managed to improve the squad. But were we good enough to beat them? No. But we got a bit closer, just that wee bit closer. The following year, we're a lot better. A couple of better players come in. You could see that it was starting to work, but we just weren't quite there. We never had that killer instinct. And then the next year, we just went right back to where we were pre-Gerrard.
Right.
As soon as we won, that was the time to build. That was the time to put the nail in the coffin and do what they're doing to us just now. Because they're basically dominating domestics left, right and centre. And they now have got such a financial advantage over us that unless we can pull in 3 or 4, 5 wonder kids to somewhere, or some players that nobody knows that just absolutely world beaters, we are going to come absolutely nowhere close to them. And it's just a sad fact. It's just it is doom and gloom. But I ain't going to bullshit. I'm fed up of hearing what we used to call happy clappers. I'm not going to even call them happy clappers anymore. As I said, it's like you'll go on socials and you'll read what they say, and it's an excuse FC. They've got the excuse for the manager. They've got the excuse for the board. They've got excuses for not having a CEO or a chairman. They've got excuse for every single player. Oh, he's injured a lot. Oh, he's just come back from injury. He's not got the legs yet. He's not got the confidence. He scores goals. You can rely on him scoring a goal. He scores 1 in 8. We don't need that here. We need somebody that scores maybe 3 or 4 in 8. And it's like somebody was making this is one of my favourite excuses I've seen the other weekend. They started doing comparabilities with Haaland, of all fucking people. Haaland. Haaland had 8 chances. He only scored 1. That was one game. In the other game, he gets 2 or 3 chances. He scores fucking 2 or 3 goals.
I know.
I'm like, come on, stop making excuses for these players that are underperforming. It's just,
I know.
Just come on. But we're supposed to be Rangers men here. Let's keep it real. I know a lot of people don't like me saying stuff like that, but you know me, I don't care. Monkeys.
I know, mate.
I'll say that how I feel, and people are welcome to disagree because my opinion is no right. It's just my opinion.
That's it, mate. That's it. Right, well, 100%. And you go, Ben.
Just to build on to Curry, I think if you're talking about obviously Gerrard and you could see progress, see if we could see progress under Cologne right now, people would be going, oh, he's still fixing Michael Beale's mess. But it looks even worse. Because a lot of Michael Beale's boys are still there. All his wee pals for his youth days and that who are picking up 20 grand a week, like Kieran Dowell and that. I mean, so if we were doing well and you're having to bring Kieran Dowell on and you're playing well and you can see progression on the park and you're maybe dropping a few points here and there, you would go, well, Beale spent 20 odd million. He's got to fix that mess, and he would get at time because other managers in previous years have. It's just he's not made a single player better, I don't think, since the turn. Probably since we always say the wee good run for when he came into what kind of April, and then we drew with Celtic, obviously drew with Dundee, lost at Ross County, and the wheels have just come off there, and he's never really recovered. Not one player looks any better.
Totally agree with what Ben says, Scotty. Scotty, go and shove up John Adams' comment, please, mate. John is saying, can't just sack Clement without having someone ready to come in. An interim manager would not be a solution. In a way, I do agree with you, John. I think that's what we should already have somebody ready to come in. But the person that come in, I think, can't be given a long-term contract. Give them a year. Give them the time till the end of the month in a way that obviously that would be classed as an interim, right? We've tried this before when managers come in and take over, and it's no worked out. We done it with Gio, we done it with Bill, and they were doing it with Clement, right? They've had the round about the November time, our favourite month. They've tried, they've been given the contracts long term, and we've had to get rid of them. What we need to do is bring somebody in to steady the ship. Get things in the right course, first of all. Sort the problems of the players getting played in the proper positions would be a big help. Stop playing players that are past it and can't give 100% anymore. You all know me, I'm one of the biggest tap haters there is in this whole support, right? Did he do a ton for us? He did do a ton for us. He scored some amazing goals and he got us to some good silverware, right? But it wasn't enough. We all know that 99.9% of the Rangers support know that his time is done at Rangers, unfortunately. He's no longer that person. Same with Dessers. Dessers scores the goals, but he doesn't score them enough. It's time for him to get either switched out to at least second choice and bring Danilo in. And if Danilo can't do it, then we need to really start thinking about getting rid of both of them in January and bringing in somebody that can put the ball in the back of the net. As soon as we settle the ship down, then at the end of the season, if we win nothing or we win a cup or anything at all, we get into the next stages of Europe. Hopefully that will happen under an interim manager or this time. But he doesn't get the job long term. It's then we should be putting somebody in place that's going to start putting the club forward. That gives us near enough 8 months from now until the new season starts to put a manager in place that's going to change the whole foundations of this squad and the players that are at it. It might be a hard time between now over the January break, the transfers and that. It might be a case of, right, we'll try and punt some players out and bring in some players just under a very short contract, free transfers, whatever. Put them in place and just get us over the line. Because right now, I think most of us agree that if we get set in place just now, we won't be ecstatic, but we'll be a lot bloody happier than we are right now. And if we manage to get a cup, maybe 2 cups even, at a push, then I think most of the Rangers support would be, well, actually, that wasn't quite as bad as we thought it was going to be, and especially if we can get into the next stages of Europe and all. If we get the Europa, if we get into the next stages of that, maybe that'll ease the not so much the hatred, but the nastiness that's going round about the Rangers support just now, or the majority of the support. So I would agree with you, John, that they need to have somebody's name sitting there and saying, right, listen, this is the guy we want. We'll bring him in end of the season, and this is what's going to happen. They need to have that person's name, and they need to have discussion with this guy and make sure it's the right person, because we can't keep on doing this. We really can't. And it's good not to do with, oh, you can't sack a manager. If a manager's not doing his job, it doesn't matter where you work or what industry you work. They get sacked because they're not doing what they're paid to do. So it's just one of the things that we need to do. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that something's going to happen, mate. I'm sorry, I've been on for bloody ages here. You probably lost half your bloody members now because of that. Sorry, bud.
That's all one. Ben, you want to add before we wrap up?
I think Curry, see the kind of short-term contract route. That's what Celtic did with Ange, didn't it? He got a year rolling, and then eventually once he'd turned into the kind of guy who kind of won everything up here, they gave him that lengthy contract to get to pay to go to Spurs. I think that needs to be our next approach. You can't be getting somebody 3-year deals and 4-year deals, and
Nah.
Like if you were to find somebody in January, I would be 18 months rolling. Give him 6 months to end the season, then a year beyond that. Then if someone goes tits up this time next year, it costs you nothing. You just get shot. Or are we going to get down the interim route right the season half and spend months looking to get the right guy again? But I don't know. But you can't be making the same poor decisions you keep making and getting people at 3-year deals, 4-year deals, because it's not working.
No, you cannot. It's not working at all. It's not working at all. They need a change in strategy. And we need to identify our own strategy.
Because it's going to be hard for a new manager to shift some of the players we are talking about aren't good enough because of the amount of wages they're on and so the amount of contract length they've got left. Like I've said this, I think I don't think we'll ever get shot of Kieran Dowell till his contract expires. I think we'll need to load him out till his contract's done. I really can't see him going, I will take a punt on him. I think it'll be out and loan, a team paying a chunk of his wages. We probably still have to pay a bulk of it, but he's just not around the place.
I need to agree. Mate. I need to agree on that. No, I think we'll finish up. That's 50 odd minutes we've got through. Ben, thanks for coming on, mate.
Thanks very much for having us, mate.
No problem. Corey, do you want to give your pod a wee plug? Thanks for coming on again, pal.
Nah, they bother me. Well, as everybody will probably know that comes in here, and I know most of the names there. It's been nice to see you all guys. It's been a long time for a lot of yous. I run the Stanza Ibrox, not very well, because it's been a wee while since I've done any pods and that. I wanted to take a wee step away from the negativity that it was, as I said to Scotty before we come on here, it was turning into a Tavernier Clermont bashing session. And I don't want to feel this way about my club. I want to be positive about the club. And I decided that while the likes of Tavernier and Dessers and Lawrence are first picks in the starting 11, I didn't want to do it anymore until things change. So I said, right, I'll take a break. I'm quite busy in real life as well. So I've been working away as hard as I can for pennies for Santa. So it's been great back, mate. Thank you very much. Ben, sorry for bursting your ears, mate. You must be like, oh, Jesus Christ, has he no stop talking? So it was really nice meeting you, mate. I hope maybe we get another chance again, hopefully in happier times. And to everybody in chat, thank you so much for coming in. I do really appreciate when I see all the guys there and saying hi and all that, and call me names and all that, and winding me up and all that. And that's what I live for. I love that.
That's it, mate. That's it. So on that cheery note, everybody head on over to Stanza Ibrox, hit the like and subscribe button. Bob and Cammy will be back at lunchtime tomorrow to round up the Rangers news for the week, round up the pod for the week. I will be putting out a scouting video at some point looking at SPFL players, because I think if we're going to change domestically, we need more decent Scottish players in my team, or players that play in this league. So we'll take a wee deep dive into them. So
you've got to take a deep dive into the seniors, mate.
No.
We're not far off it now.
I know. Right, so we'll be back tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Thanks for tuning in. This was brought to you by Premier VPN and in association with Man on Inverclyde. So
can I see it? Can I see it?
Aye, on you go.
Can I see it?
Until
remember,
then.
What?
On you go.
Right, thank you. Right. And remember, folks, every night is a no surrender. Oh, no, it's a Rangers Journal night. See you later, guys. Have a good one.